Lately when I look in the mirror, I don't know who I see. These eyes are so much darker than they ever used to be.
All right. Oop, I'm getting echo. Hold up. All right. All right, so let me know in the chat if you guys can hear me. Everything should be okay. Let's get everybody in here. Do a quick audio check, make sure everything is good real quick, and then we'll go ahead and get on our way. Obviously, since this is directly on YouTube, it will automatically be saved. All right, let's go ahead and I'm going to change the music up to something that will not get me, like, banned. So we'll just change that and put it on low in the background. If that's distracting, you guys can let me know. But anyway, let's go ahead and get going here. All right, I also increased the bitrate of the stream, so we should be good. Okay. All right. All right, so you guys should be able to see me and all of that good stuff. It doesn't look like I can type back in the chat from OBS, which is pretty disappointing, actually. So there's no reason for me to have that up. Let's see. Come over here. Just pop this chat out. YouTube. All right, there we go. That should work. Just organize my stream. This is the first time that I've streamed on YouTube in quite some time, so just bear with me real quick. I'm getting everything set up here. Appreciate that. All right. It says that we got a good connection. That's good. Awesome. All right. Just gonna move this over. So many windows. I don't think that there's going to be a ton of people in this stream. It is Friday night. But anyway, doing this regardless, just so that everything, you know, gets recorded, and that way you guys can see everything later. That's really what this is all about. That way you guys can still learn and everything. So With all that said, thank you everybody for joining. If you're not watching this live, make sure that you smash the like and subscribe button. That way you hit that little bell and you get notified when I do these live streams and all of that good stuff. Check out all of the links and the social medias on my page. Make sure that you're following me on Twitter and all of that good stuff. You know, the obligatory, shameless self-promotion before we actually start getting into some content here. There is just one or two things that I want to go over real quickly. First, if you're watching the re-record of this, then you can probably skip ahead maybe about 2 or 3 minutes or so as I kind of babble on here and just let you guys know what's on my plate for 2023. So just some personal stuff first. On the home front here, there's a lot going on at my house. I've been getting my daughter registered and all of us registered with our local parish and everything. So that she can be going, to a private school and everything, starting next year and all of that stuff, going through all of that. My wife is also going through the process of doing what she needs to do with the admissions office so that she can start taking classes to get her full RN. And that's going to be, I guess, next semester. So I guess it would be like the spring semester in August. I don't know what semester that is, but she's going to be preparing to do all of that stuff. And I actually just started registering and getting some of the certs that I'm going to be getting. I'm going to be going into IT and cloud security. I want to start moving into that profession kind of like as a full-time thing, just because it really interests me. And there's some really big money to be made doing that, especially out in the Midwest where I am, because most people out here are blue collar and don't do a lot of IT. So there is a need for techie kind of people to be able to manage servers and cloud computing and stuff. So starting with my A+ cert, and then I'm going to go with my Network Plus, Security Plus, kind of get all of the CompTIA certs and then move on, get my CCNA. While I'm doing all those certs, I'm probably going to work part-time doing like help desk remote, like from home work. And that's pretty much what's going on there. Now, in terms of my business and Cobra Trading as a brand, I know that there's a lot of questions up in the air about this. I know this is the first time that I've done anything on my YouTube in quite some time, probably about a year. Haven't uploaded any videos except for my little shorts that I was pretty much are exclusive on Twitter. That's going to be changing a lot drastically. I have really, really dropped the ball on my YouTube. That's something that I don't want to do. I want to keep growing this channel. This channel was my baby for so long. And then it was I surpassed 5,000 subs and got authorized or whatever on my YouTube to be able to monetize. And then I just didn't make any content. So that's changing this year. I'm also redoing my entire website. So a couple notes on this. All of these things are kind of happening at the same time, right? So in terms of the website, that's going to be my home and my hub for pretty much everything. I'm going to be writing blogs on there probably every week or two. And I'm also going to have an actual training course. Okay, so all of the videos and stuff and training courses that I have right now are exclusive to Elevate Trading. That's ending. And I'm actually going to be putting those out on my website. And that's going to be a subscription-based service, not through Elevate, but through myself. It's going to be coming at an extreme discount, and I'm going to keep growing on those courses and keep adding content to it. Now, a lot of the tutorials that are on my YouTube, thank you for watching them. There's still a lot of good information there, but they're pretty outdated. And I'm planning on redoing a lot of those, even some of the ones that are actually in my training course right now. I'm going to be updating a lot of those things. Just make them nicer, more professionally produced, update the information, and all of that good stuff. Okay, so that is going to be one thing that's going to be happening. And I think besides that, obviously coming out with new content all the time. That's a really big goal for me. I really need to be just pushing out content on my YouTube. That's where I'm going to be focusing. I'm still probably going to do starting next week, I'm going to be doing the twice weekly analysis shorts. But once a week when I do my streams, they're going to be here on YouTube. I can reach a larger audience that way. And it really helps when you guys that watch, if you guys enjoy the content, you guys liking and retweeting and getting the stream link out to other people. I really appreciate that. It helps me grow, the channel and everything. And it shows me your appreciation. So thank you to everybody that participates in doing that. So I think there's only one more thing that I want to hit on, which is my automated trading strategies. So if you don't already, make sure that you follow at Venom Algo on Twitter. There should be a link for that in the description beneath this video. If there isn't, I will make sure to put one there, but you guys can easily go on Twitter and find this. That is going to be the Twitter for just my automated trading strategies. And I just want to touch on that for a minute or so before I start getting into what's going on with the economy and charts and all of that. And I will take alt requests later on. So it might be a little bit of a longer stream since I'm going over some of this initial stuff. But the main thing I want to hit on that is I produce those in partnership with with Astrobit Trading. And they're actually doing a live AMA. Maybe you guys saw my tweet. If you go to my page, there's a tweet. They're actually doing a live AMA with the Bybit exchange. Okay, so that's the CEO, the CTO, and the Chief Operating Officer, COO, which is Lindsay. So Lindsay, Nick, Wesley, and Sergi, I think, are going to be the 4 that are on the AMA. I'm going to be participating in that as well. I was their first strategist, but in terms of Astrobit, besides them doing the AMA with Bybit, which is huge for Astrobit, by the way. Besides that, my own algorithms, I'm actually going to be one of the first people to do AI automation with mine. So Astrobit has their own proprietary AI stuff that they use to optimize the strategies. I'm going to be one of the first strategists that's running my strategies through that. Over the last 3 months, I've been gutting all of the code, redoing everything, working very closely with their dev team on a weekly basis for months now, redoing all of my base strategies. And Monday, I have my last meeting with them. And then I'm going to be running all of my strategies through the AI optimizer that's proprietary for Astrobit Trading. Now, once I do that, it's going to take maybe about another week or 2 after that. And then I'm going to be relaunching everything. Okay, so first will be a Bitcoin and an Ethereum strategy, probably a scalper and a swing for both pairings, for ETH and for Bitcoin. Okay, so that's 4. And then after that, I'm going to start growing it. So we're talking, CRV, we're talking XRP, we're talking AVAX, we're talking, who knows, maybe I'll make one for Blur or something, like the new trendy pairings and shit that are out there. I don't know yet, but it's going to be a lot easier for me to be doing that because of their AI proprietary technology that they're now offering. So keep a heads up for that. All this stuff is going to be on my website. When those algorithms get released, I'm going to be releasing everything at the same time. It's going to be a huge push for me. I'm really excited for this. There's going to be courses. There's going to be blogs. There's going to be educational stuff. There's going to be training stuff to get up and running with Astrobit. There's going to be all of the new Astrobit strategies. Like, all of these things are going to be getting released at the same time. It's going to be a really, really big release for me. And that's going to be happening at the end of this quarter. So the reason why I'm doing that is my birthday is at the end of March. So I figured doing it at the end of the quarter, or, right at the beginning of quarter 2 for this year would be really awesome. It's kind of a birthday present for me. Just self-development and getting all of my stuff and all of the Cobra stuff back out there. The YouTube, the courses, the strategies, the algorithms, everything. So I'm very excited for that. I hope you guys are excited for that. Some of you guys that are in here have probably followed me for quite some time. Those of you that haven't, again, make sure that you check out the Venom Algo Twitter, my own Twitter, obviously subscribe to the YouTube. Check out at Astrobit Trading on Twitter as well, and follow them so that you get updated. Their AMA is going to be next Wednesday at, I think it's 2 p.m. Central. I'll just go to it real quick. Hold on. Let's go to it real quick. I actually don't know, but I know that I retweeted it. It's somewhere here. Here it is. So here's the tweet. February 22nd at 1 p.m. UTC. So whatever 1 p.m. UTC is for you. That's Nick, that's Georgie, that's Wesley, and then their CTO, or not their CTO, their COO, Chief Operating Officer, which is Lindsay, is also going to be there as well. Okay, so really, really big that Astrobit is having an AMA with Bybit. Like, that's huge, especially for me being one of the first strategists there. So I'm not going to harp on it. I know I'm talking a lot about this. I'm just very excited for this. Astrobit hosts a lot of strategies. They host WarpBot. They host Bread Bites. They host the strategies from Elevate Trading. They host my own strategies. They're big and they're growing. So if you are a trader and you have your own strategy and you want to automate that and maybe, be able to have like an audience to be able to market that to, You guys can feel free to shoot me a DM either on Twitter or on Discord. My Discord should also be like in the information for the stream. So if you're a strategist or you're a trader and you want to take it, the next step and start marketing your own, as your own product, get a hold of me and I might be able to hook you up with their dev team. Who knows? Maybe I can talk you up to the dev team and maybe they'll do it for free. Who knows? But if that's you or someone that you know, drop them a line, tell them to get a hold of me. They are in the process of onboarding as many people as possible because of all the partnerships that they have in place. But so cheers, Friday night. I'm going to stop chatting about that. And the next thing that I want to talk about is some of this FUD that's been going on in just crypto and in economics in general. So a lot of the stuff that's been happening in crypto, it's basically just a bunch of nonsense. Okay. So there's a lot of these articles that are coming out about, like the FUD and everything with Binance. I'm not really paying too much attention to that. And I'll show you guys. I mean, you guys probably might already know about like what's been going on with this. Maybe it was CZ that was doing it or whatever. We pulled back on some potential investments, There's been a lot of FUD surrounding Binance because of all this stuff that's been going on with, just regulation and all of this stuff. So Watcher Guru had posted this. This was like the big thing for today where he said, okay, Binance is going to be considering delisting US-based cryptocurrencies. CZ says that this is false. A lot of people say that CZ is lying on this one. I tend to not agree with that. But basically what's going on is Watcher Guru got that story from, it was either Bloomberg or Reuters. And they were basically just like spitting out, like basically just retweeting the news, right? So it was Bloomberg. And that's basically what's going on because of the SEC. So the SEC is heavily enforcing on crypto right now. Okay. We already know that they've been doing a lot with like Coinbase and Gemini, and now they're looking into, and they've got like warrants and everything for Do Kwon because of the whole Luna UST thing, and they're calling those securities based on like Howey tests and other tests that they're running them through and all of that stuff. And that's causing a lot of confusion. It's causing a lot of chaos in the markets. There's a lot of FUD swirling around with all of that. And what you guys need to know here is most of that's total nonsense. Okay. Like we don't have any control over what the SEC is going to do. Pretty much all that we can do is trade around it and do the best that we can to try and, just deal with it. Okay. And you guys that are watching right now, please make sure that you're like letting me know if the audio is clear and the video is clear and everything now that we've got more people in here. I don't want to be doing a stream and then I realize like after I've already done the stream and it recorded that it was like god awful quality. So please let me know in the chat if everything is good for you guys. If it's not, I can fix it now rather than later. But anyway, with all of that aside, that's pretty much like the majority of like the FUD and everything that's been, just going down, and it's really not awesome. Okay. So with all that said, I tend to pretty much ignore all of that stuff. Bacon Brigade is here. Hey, what's up, buddy? Good to see you in here. He's saying that the stream is all good. That's awesome. Always good to double check. So, anyway, like I said, when it comes to the FUD, I just try to ignore all of that. Okay. Now, clearly we've been getting a lot of FUD, but look at this chart, right? So before we start getting into volume and all that stuff, we'll bring it up to a high time frame here. You guys, I'll jump right into Bitcoin and then I'll get to Ethereum next. After that, I'll take some chart requests if you guys want. And then we can jump into that stuff. So those of you that sat through like the whole intro of the stream with me going over that stuff, I appreciate it. Thank you very much for staying here for that and getting through that. Again, if you're rewatching this, it was probably about 3 or 4 minutes that you could skip through. Hopefully YouTube will add a chapter there automatically. If not, I probably will for the people that are just not interested in Cobra branded stuff, whatever, and what's going on with my life and my family's, my family and stuff. Anyway, so we'll start with this. Let's actually bump it up to a weekly chart here and get into the nitty gritty. I haven't actually done any of these short analysis videos that I do normally twice a week. that you guys are accustomed to. So I'm going to go through that kind of stuff first, right? We'll look at Bitcoin first, and we'll look at all the information. We'll look at liquidity data brought to you by highblockcapital.com. I'll touch on their platform for a minute, and then we'll work into ETH. Then I'll take the requests and everything from you guys. And I'm going to try and go through this stuff pretty quickly because I think I've already been streaming for about 15-20 minutes. So we'll go through this rather quick. Now, first of all, on the weekly chart for Bitcoin, right? So this is our massive previous all-time high here, okay? Now, we did see a throw under of that, and the level of resistance was basically this area right here, okay? So this is what's known as an orthodox top. If you guys are familiar with Elliott Wave, you guys know what I'm referring to when I say orthodox top. If you guys want more information on that, you guys have Google. As soon as you search that, probably the first link is going to be like Investopedia or something, and it will explain in detail what an orthodox top is, right? This is volatility up here that caused this top, but this right here where these wicks are, if you zoom in there, all those wicks right there, that's like what's known as an orthodox top. I'm sure there's more information on that out there, but so we did have a throw under of that, and we tapped our orthodox top here, okay? That was where this was. So now, typically, in an area of capitulation, this is normally the kind of price action that you see with a quick bottom before some kind of a reversal. If you notice here, this is looking like a big U shape. We also saw the same thing here. Now this, I mean, technically this was all one giant continuation here. This was all corrective, right? But anyway, this is a V-shaped bottom, okay? V-shaped recovery. You guys are very familiar with that. This is a U-shaped bottom. This is pretty typical of price action that occurs after capitulation. Well, Cobra, if you're sounding like you're bullish, how come, you're like shorting the market and stuff? I'm like long-term bullish on this market. I've been laddering in and dollar cost averaging on spot since I think 25,000. I think my average on spot right now is, I think it's like 18 and a half or so, because I bought all the way down to here. I was just buying and buying and buying and buying. Since we broke $25,000, this is where I started doing massive spot buys, increasing the dollar amount as we went lower. I think my average is about 18 and a half. I'm up massive on that spot, which is why I'm shorting, right? Like I'm trading the markets and I'm, shorting pumps. But, like long term for me, like that's just a hold. Like I don't like bull markets really. There's just like, it's just brainless. Like you can literally just buy anything and watch it go up. Kind of dulls the senses. That's why so many people get washed out when you have this kind of price action here. Hold on one second. Somebody was tagging me. Anyway, somebody was asking on Discord if I was streaming. Anyhow, getting back into this. So on this weekly chart, right, we had this really big level of support, and we just regained this. Now, the only thing that's concerning me about this, if we really zoom in here, is the fact that we haven't retested this level, right? Like tested as support, broke down huge, consolidated, broke right back up through it, and then just kept going. And we haven't had any real retrace back down into those like 19, those high 19, 20K areas. And that's a little concerning for me. That's really my only concern here. We're also having a lot of trouble breaking through these highs. Okay. So on the weekly chart, if you like ignore all of the rest of these lines and you're, kind of a beginner or whatever, and you want to start learning how to draw supply and demand zones, that's your supply zone right there. Okay. That's your weekly supply. Okay. And if you wanted to go like long term and just like note it and come down here and go, okay, this is my long term, this is my long term weekly demand zone. Okay. As it stands right now. Like obviously this could change or whatever. Okay. So those would be your two zones. Your weekly demand is between 15.6 and 16.3. And then your weekly supply up here, which we've seen a lot of rejections so far on the lower time frames, which I'll get into in a second. is between 24.3 and 25.2. Okay. So for those of you that want to mark that on your chart, go ahead. Anyway, now let's take a look at our volume. Okay. So first we're going to take a look at these one by one. So first we'll take a look at our, this is the Wada Atar explosion. This is calculated just slightly different. It uses averages more, kind of like Heikin Ashi candles do, but this is volume instead. Again, if you guys want to know how those indicators work, there's Google. I'm not going to get into that right now. But in terms of volume per bar, this is not very impressive to me. Okay. You know, when you look at our bull market and you see the kind of volume that we had, you know, like in our bull market and everything, it was a lot more than what we're seeing now. You know, I mean, this was just not very impressive to me in general. You know, obviously, if you look at this, oops, that's the wrong tool. If you look at this in a general way, obviously this volume is continually decreasing here. Okay, that's like a very nice slant. And that's where the volume per bar is. If you notice on this weekly chart so far, there's about 2 days left on this weekly candle. Unless this candle keeps pushing up, we're actually going to get lower volume here on this last push up than we did at the beginning of our trend, which is not good. That's showing signs of weakness to me in terms of this overall trend. Now, with that said, if we look at our MACD, and this is a free indicator, this isn't the normal MACD. If you guys want, it's a modified MACD that has some more indications on it. If you guys want this, you just simply go to indicators. You can search KMAC. It's right here. Okay. Listed by Cobra Trading. And you guys can get this for free on your own. But anyway, look at how much time it took. Like this was basically flat all through here, right? And when we finally started getting all of this momentum, we only just crossed with both MACD lines into bullish territory way up here. Okay. And this was like when the trend was starting to flip over. Now we've got this other huge green candle, and this just looks like it's flipping. Like the moment, it's losing all of that momentum here. So that's, you know, kind of another, you know, red flag to me. Like the volume is not very high and it's been decreasing over time. The momentum is not very good at all here, even in spite of this massive $10,000 move that we've had. It's not really that much momentum here, which is another red flag to me. Now, the third red flag, and this is kind of like the conflicting thing here, is the fact that all through this downtrend, before we even reversed, we were getting massively increased spot volume. Obviously, this is trending up while the price action was trending down. Now, this was kind of like a big, this was a big red flag for me in terms of spot buys. Okay, when I started noticing this, you know, since like August or whatever, you know, I noticed this, I think, a month or two ago. And I said, holy crap. I brought up this on the weekly chart and I said, whoa, that is a lot of increased, you know, spot volume, even though the price has been like capitulating and going down. Like this is good. So that's why I started accumulating, you know, down here at these really low levels, like 18K, 16K, 15K. That's why I started buying all those on spot. Sure enough, we reversed. I'm sitting in really nice, comfy spot profits. I think I still hold some spot on Bitcoin that I bought like 4 or 5 years ago, back at $4,000 that I still have on a Trezor. That, you know, I pretty much will never sell any of that. But when I saw this, that was a big red flag. Like, okay, start accumulating spot here. That was a good choice. This still continues to go up. However, obviously we need to wait for this to close. But what you'll notice here is obviously we were getting a higher high. Like if you line these up, this was your first high. We're getting a higher high here in price. And it looks like we're going to be getting a lower high here on our OBV. Now, while this isn't necessarily a bad thing because the overall trend on the OBV is up, when I look at the volume per bar and, you know, momentum indicators like the MACD, and I see everything just really slowing down, that's what makes me think, and, you know, it makes me want to come down to smaller time frames like a daily and look for some clues, right? So obviously on a daily chart, if we look at price action first, we can see that, okay, we're at a major area of supply up here. Okay, we're major 25K resistance. The last time we were here was back in August, and it was just wick and rejection, wick and rejection, wick and rejection. And then we did it again a few weeks, like a week or two later, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 or 6 wicks up here, and then it rejected hard. And it finally came down. But every time that we've reached up into these areas, we've rejected really hard. This was 3 times over here between July and August. We got up to these same levels again. This was the first time we rejected. We made a higher high, and now we're starting to reject again. And we've got these really big wicks to the top side here. Okay. So, seeing a big bearish hammer like this, I mean, that wasn't good yesterday. That was followed up immediately by a big bullish engulfing candle, which is good. But again, when you start looking at the momentum and the volume here, volume is dying off, right? And like everybody thinks that I'm crazy for being bearish on this move. Oh, we've gone up 40%, or I think somebody said it was 40%. I don't think it's 40%. Okay, 60%. That's what I thought. I was like, there's no way it's only 40 from our low. But anyway, again, massively decreasing volume over time. Very, very, very weak. Like all through this uptrend, our MACD was flipped over and going down the whole time. It flipped over massively. We got this big pump, and immediately the momentum is dying off again. Not to mention our RSI. You guys already know what divergence is. I don't need to really discuss that. So again, not really, instilling too much confidence in me for a long-term uptrend here, especially when your spot, on balance volume looks atrocious like this, and you're getting, higher highs and massively lower highs, like really big difference here, on the spot volume. Like once we got here, it was just like spot buyers pulled out. That was it. It was gone. It just tanked. That is a really big red flag for me. That's not good. Like, I mean, these dotted yellow lines. I'll bring this up for illustration purposes here. Okay. This downtrend obviously goes back to, early 2022, like in May, in May. And then we kind of started making a channel here, had some throwovers and throw unders. And then these yellow dashed lines are pretty much lines of, importance. Okay. Like areas where the on balance volume has consolidated. Okay. So they're important. I leave those marked on the chart. The fact that we, broke, and there was another major level here that I just didn't mark. There was one here too. I'll mark that now for illustration purposes. But, we broke out of the channel, faked out, broke back in it, broke out of the channel again, broke above this, flipped this level, broke right through this, never retested this, and shot straight up into this higher level of consolidation. And there was even one test that we had that was up here. Okay. Now, obviously I'm using the peaks for this. Most people don't chart on OBV like this. I'm just doing this for illustrative purposes. But the main thing that you want to take away from this is it's not a good thing when you pump that high that fast, and then immediately all of your spot volume disappears, like right in the middle of an uptrend that should be breaking. Like this should have this, like the price action says this should have the strength to be breaking above 25K and start testing, previous, consolidation areas up higher. That's not what this OBV is telling me. Like this tells me that like it probably won't be going any further on higher timeframes, and that this might be all she's got left. Like there might not be any gas left in this. That's worrying to me. And I know that right now that's not the popular, that's not the popular sentiment. Okay. That's like the unpopular opinion on Twitter and stuff. Like I get that, but you have to break these things down sometimes. Like I have very high conviction in my own analysis. I've been trading. I got started in Forex and commodities and futures and stuff back in 2012. I've been trading markets for over 10 years. I have a very high conviction in my form of analysis and the way that I choose to take my setups, the way that I plan my setups, plan my trades, trade my plans. So I don't really give a shit what idiots on, crypto Twitter have been saying. Most of them are newbies, or they've only been in the market for a year and they think that they're like king shit, because they made some money on a bear market rally and they think that they've got it oh yeah, bear markets are easy, I've got it all figured out, when in reality, it was literally just one bear market rally. All they did was got lucky on their buy and held it for a month. They have no idea really what they're doing. Because I have high conviction in my setups and everything, and I come in with trade plans. Now, in my opinion, if you're shorting this, and I am shorting, I'm currently in a short position. You can't really ask for a better RR. For those of you that don't know what that means, it's risk to reward. Okay. This is just a small consolidation area. Okay. Here, like, we can honestly just kind of like pretend that that's not here for a moment. This is resistance. You have an extremely well-defined area for your stop loss. Clearly, if you're closing above these highs, the trend is going to continue. This is as good of a risk to reward, like swing trade setup that you're going to see in a very long time for Bitcoin, because through all of this, you don't know where the bottom is, right? So you're basically knife catching on this. And I believe Nebraskan Gooner is going to be having a video coming out on knife catching that I have to edit for him. I'm his video editor, by the way. So I think I'm going to have to do that with his video. He's got a knife catching video that's coming up, little free alpha there. But all of this was knife catching, like, you know, unless you were down here, like once a bottom was formed, it was like, okay, I can, like, at this level of support, like everyone was buying through here, right? It rallied a little bit. There was a big fake out and it dumped. And this was like the FTX dump or something, right? Yeah. Back in, this is November. This was the FTX dump. Okay. This was a black swan event though. Like if FTX never dumped and didn't rug, this would have never happened. Like we'd probably already be up here months ago. Who knows what would have happened? Anyway, in terms of risk to reward, like good risk to reward setups, I mean, this is like as good as it gets here. So for instance, on a swing trade, this is pretty much my setup. You know, I've got some ladders in here. My stop, I think, is above 25. It's like just above 26K. I think it's 2650. I mean, if I really want to make this exact, we can stop level 2650. Okay, and again, I have other ladders up here. I think my entry right now is, what is my entry right now? What is this? 24,710 is my entry. Okay, and I have another ad above 25, like 2550 or something to make my average higher. My target is for these lows to break. My first target is down here for a swing. Okay, that's a 3-to-1 setup. Obviously that's like without the leverage combined, right? So that's a 16% win on 10x. Now a lot of people are saying, oh my god, a 60% loss, you're insane, that's crazy, you know, 6 times 10 is 60, a 60% loss, oh my god, what happens if you lose that? You're gonna go bust. And it's like, not really, because if you have good risk management, which also includes position sizing, no, like, okay, it's 60% with the leverage, but what am I really losing on that trade? Well, I'm only really losing 2% of my portfolio, right? Like maybe 2 to 5% of my portfolio, because it's a calculated loss. Okay. Now, if I was shorting down here, you know, which I did, and I took the setup, I was previously short from 24,050, which was right about here. Okay. My stop was above this high. Okay. And I shorted and I took profits and closed, you know, down here at these lows. Like everyone was long, my timeline lit up with everyone that was longing, you know, 21.5 and, you know, 21.8 and 22K and stuff. And that was because the sentiment changed on Twitter very quickly. I took my profits, I closed there. Okay. I will gladly take a higher risk to reward setup at a major weekly level of supply than kind of in here in the middle. In my opinion, this trade that I took before at 24K was the higher risk short, because there's not really a defined level of weekly supply there. Here at 25K up to like 25.3 or whatever there is. So, I mean, you can kind of look at it, you know, however you want, but let's take a look at, we'll come down to a 4-hour chart here. Okay, we'll take a look at some of this stuff real quick. Now, if you come down to the 4 hour, obviously this is painting a different picture up here. Okay. In terms of the on balance volume and everything, this is painting a much different picture. However, there's divergence forming everywhere else, right? You've got a bullish cross in your MACD. It's way down here. That's not good. RSI looks kind of like garbage up here, especially if it was going to be making a higher high. This doesn't really look good. It shows a little bit of weakness. If we come down to a 15-minute chart, it's pretty much just a lot of volatility up here, okay? And you've got your indicators basically either going flat or they're correcting, okay? So a lot of this was really flat through here. You know, this OBV was basically flat through here the entire time, okay? So not really too much information on these lower time frame charts. That's why I don't really like to do too much of my stuff on the 15-minute, okay? I really like to stick with my main analysis on the 4 hour and above, and kind of keep, you know, my decision-making process to that. So next thing I'm going to do is go over here to, we're going to look at our liquidity. Okay. Now just real quickly, one of the new features that Highblock Capital added, again, there should be a link for this down in the description if you guys are interested in this platform. Technically the stream isn't sponsored by them because it's not. I'm just like partnered with them, but I mean, I just promote them. I still pay for this shit myself, but I use this every day. One of the cool features that they just added is with these liquidation heat maps, which is a newer product, I think like before 2023. They just recently added, now you can pull this down and you can add the three major exchanges that they have, right? So BitMEX, Bybit, and Binance, you can aggregate all of the data together, and it will show you all of it on the same chart, which is brilliant in my opinion. I absolutely love that. So this is on 12 hours here. You can clearly see that, yeah, there's a pocket of liquidity above us. It's not really that much higher above where we are right now. It's sitting right around 25, 350 or so is that like the high point for it. Okay. That's not very much higher than we are now. Okay. That's like $1,000. Okay. Not very much. Now below us, on the other hand, less than $500 below us, we could see like a very major cascade that could take us all the way down to about, you know, $1,000 below us. So down to 23.5. If this stuff started triggering, that's not good. Okay. But that's on the 12 hour. Like if we look at this on a weekly, it's going to paint a little bit of a different picture, right? It shows us that not only do we have all of that stuff down here, but there's a lot of lit up areas down here. Why? Well, because everyone's been longing the piss out of this since 15K and not having to close any of their positions. And if they are, they're just taking profit. And then what's worrying me is we've got this really big pocket of liquidity down here that's right around 20K. That was kind of my my rationale for seeing some kind of major previous all-time high retest before really making into a new bull run. Ancient Alien, hey, how you doing, buddy? He says, hi, what do you mean what do you use as your entry time frame? Tell us more about the heat map and how you use them. So about my entry real quick, I normally enter on a 1 hour, and I do the majority of my drawing for my charts on my 1 hour. But I do most of my just like analysis, like looking at the chart and the price action. My price action analysis, I use like the higher time frames for it. Like I'm talking mostly the 4 hour and the daily. Like the weekly is just like a really big macro thing, but I'm not really basing any decisions off of that. I pretty much just use that to look for candle formations, okay, and like overall momentum. But in terms of like the actual analysis that I do, I like to get an overall sense for where the major supply and demand zones are on the 4 hour and the daily. And I do most of my like supply and demand zone charting on those time frames, and then any like patterns and stuff like that, like fib retracements and things, like all of my other nitty gritty analysis. I do all of that on the 1 hour time frame because that's what I enter and exit on. I find the 1 hour to be, it's just my favorite time frame personally. It's a good medium because, you know, in a day, you know, it'll paint 24 candles a day, and that's, you know, a pretty good amount of candles to be able to judge, you know, like get your, you know, your moving averages going and stuff like that. I find it to be a really good time frame for looking for patterns as well. So that's what I exit and enter on, and then I do my pattern drawing and my nitty gritty analysis there. Price action, supply and demand zones I do on the daily time frame. Now, in terms of tell us more about the heat map and how to use them, I pretty much just use this to find where the liquidity is. Okay, like price action tends to gravitate towards where the liquidity is. Okay, so is price action closer to the liquidity pools that's above us or below us? Well, it's closer to the ones that's above us, and that stands a chance of running us up to 26.2 or so. Would that stop me out of my short? Yeah, it would. I don't mind. You know what I mean? Like, okay, cool. If I know the price is going to be skyrocketing up there, shit, I'll close my short early and like take a way smaller loss and then just try again up there. Or close my short immediately and flip long on higher leverage with a smaller position size for a scalp and then flip short again, you know, to make up the loss plus some and then flip short again. That's kind of the way that I roll. If price action moves like very quickly in one direction, I tend to do that. But these are pretty much, you know, like this tool with High Block Capital. The two tools that I use the most is these liquidation heat maps. I look at the different time frames on these. Obviously, you know, like if you bring this up to a 3-month, this is going to look a lot different, right? So like those are your major like monthly liquidity pools. I mean, like, you know, this is scary. This is why people are still calling for 14K. This liquidity here has been untouched completely the entire time. Okay, it's never been touched. These are all liquidations. These are estimated liquidations. And it's kind of crazy that there are still some that low. Obviously, again, this changes again if you look at the yearly, right? There's like basically no more liquidity above us until about maybe 27, 28K. But there's a shit ton of liquidity down here at 15 at our lows where everybody longed the shit out of this from. That's just sitting there since we hit those lows. Okay. So, you know, it paints a pretty cool picture of where the liquidity is. So, you know, there's like the weekly. I would say I probably use the weekly on this the most. And then like this is going to be like short time frame. Okay, this is going to be short time. And I don't think that you can aggregate all of them on this one. I think it's just one by one. Yeah, this one's just one by one. So, if you come up here and we refresh this is going to be a much lower time frame, right? Okay, shows a couple days, but it's in general like a lot lower of a time frame. You know, I mean, right now there's still 18 billion longs that are leveraged on Binance, and that's just on Binance. That is a lot of longs that are very much, you know, offsides here. Okay, like that's not good. That's a really big red flag for me. This is very typical of like super crazy up only bull market. And then what happens in a bull market? You end up getting one of those really quick, really violent, you know, like 75% retracements, wipe out all the liquidity. It'll go sideways for a week and then it goes right back up into up only mode when people like, you know, get more money or have confidence that it's bottomed. That's pretty much what we're seeing here. And on the chart, you know, we haven't really seen one of those big retracements. When you look at this move, this overall move, you know, like when you measure this from our bottom to here, which was our first move to the top side, we retraced perfectly and hit the golden pocket. Okay, that's normal when you're talking about finding a bottom. The next move that we did, I mean, again, if you just pull from our very bottom to like here, this didn't even retrace 20. That was maybe a 15% retracement. But our next real, you know, pivot was like up here from our bottom. Like if you don't count this as a wave, you know, this was like our whole main first move. It only retraced 24 of 25%. That's nothing. That's nothing. For cryptocurrency, that's fucking nothing. Especially with Bitcoin. That's like very, very, very small. And then again, we made another move higher, which so far, again, has only retraced maybe about 32, 30, maybe 40% here, 45%. not very much off that one move. And that move was straight up. And then it attempted to do a V-shaped recovery right after, which normally doesn't work after you go straight up that quickly. Now, to give you guys an idea of this, if you bring this up to a daily time frame and we go back to like bull market up only, okay, what happened on these? So if we look at this one, here's a good example. This one, up only mode, we went to here, retraced a solid 25%. That was pretty much nothing. It was like a little fake out. Okay. Then what happened? We went up this high. Okay. Another little 382 retracement. So we're seeing a pattern here, right? This first one was about 25%. This one's about 40%. Okay. What happened after we had that last move up? Well, if you measure from, where did I first measure from? I guess it was here, right? You measure this whole thing. Damn it. The entirety of the move, we retraced just over 40%, probably like 45% for the whole thing. So if you come back over here, this is where a lot of the basis is for this narrative that's on Twitter right now. If you look at this whole thing, if we were really going to retrace that much, then this needs to come a lot deeper, like at least to about 20,300, 20.3. I think this area would be pretty decent, right? If we're following that kind of trend that I just showed you, okay? That would be the move, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. This is our 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. It's kind of a wonky last 5 wave. I would call that truncated, but whatever. Those of you that are familiar with Elliott wave theory, that to me looks like a truncated 5th. And if we were really going to be retracing and we were going to really see a good solid retracement before really starting a bull run, which is what we want, right? That's healthy price action for Bitcoin. Up only and super shallow retracements is not healthy price action. Okay. It's not. It's just not. That's not how markets work, because the amount of time that they will be able to continue moving up is very, very short. Okay. Just keep that in mind. Like when you see straight up like this, like, yeah, it tanked. And when it tanked, it went hard because everyone was taking profits. Now, those that didn't and those that doubled down, which I think was the majority in this case, that made the market pop up even higher, faster. And now to me personally, it looks like it's running out of gas. When that happens, when you see some full kind of retracement, if this is really going to be like our first real wave up or whatever, there's a really good possibility that, shorting up here, again, this goes back to like, the risk reward up here. You enter here, you put a stop above that high, here, whatever, it's like 2650, somewhere around here. Okay. If you're looking for this target first, even if it's a 382, that's good RR, 2.5 to 1. If you're looking for 20K, say, you're looking for a 3 to 1. If you're looking for a golden pocket in our major demand right here, this is the level that, in my opinion, we need to flip. This is where the major demand is. Okay. We never retested this level. This was obviously a major level of support. I mean, we just broke right through it. Absolutely no retest. Now, nothing says that it has to retest it, but in my opinion, when you come back here, I mean, you guys know this just absolutely terrible grindy price action that was this level. Okay. Look at how many tests we had. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Technically, you could count that one. I mean, it's in the vicinity 6 or 7, right? 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Like this had so many tests throughout here. So many wicks went into this demand zone. Now, the reason why it broke really quick downwards was because of that Black Swan FTX event. Now, it does make sense to me of why we shot right up to these areas real quickly, is because we broke down through all of those areas really quickly. That makes sense. Okay. However, not retesting such a very, very, very major, important level of demand that was there is kind of a red flag to me. Now, this move, we broke down very quickly. We consolidated. We broke right back up very, very quickly. It's kind of a hard call for me on because of this black swan. That's the only reason why that capitulation event happened, right? That's the reason why we broke right back up through it very, very quickly. However, a major level like this, like I can understand why this first part of the price action occurred. It makes complete and total sense to me. But not coming down from here and retesting this, in my opinion, is kind of a red flag. Not coming down from here and retesting it is kind of a red flag. I mean, I don't know. Again, it, like, nothing says that these levels have to be tested, but you know, normally major levels that have this much support over time that eventually break down, normally those are the levels that you want to see retested before price continues to move higher and you start seeing some kind of full-blown macro trend reversal, you know, or what have you. So that being said, again, if you come back to these liquidity charts, you know, that's, you know, you've got a lot of liquidity down there too. 21,100. Well, if you come back and you look, 21,100. Yeah, it's right in this area here. Right, what I was saying. What was that? About the 382, right? Something like that. Yep, just below the 382, right in that area. That's where a major portion of liquidity is. That's where I would be expecting price to be gravitating. You know, obviously that, again, that doesn't have to happen, but you know, that's, you know, maybe for me, maybe it's wishful thinking. Maybe I'm being a dumbass here. Maybe all of my analysis is for nothing. And, you know, me spotting that the fucking spot volume here just died, even though we made a higher high and there's divergences all over the place and there's no momentum. Maybe I'm the fucking idiot and it just keeps skyrocketing. I have no idea. I don't know. You know, again, you know, like, let me know in the comments, like, what do you guys think? Do you guys really think that this is the bottom, or do you think that this is like just a, you know, like a massive bull trap or something, and we're going to end up reversing? Now, I'm not in the camp that it's a massive bull trap. I'm simply saying that this is just a very, very massive area of supply. Like, this is where institutions and whales are looking to get out. This isn't where retail is looking to get out. Retail is buying into this. They're buying into the resistance. They're apes. Crypto Twitter is apes. They're buying into this resistance right now. It's understandable. That's like kind of the axiom of crypto trading, right? Is like, yeah, I'm buying into the resistance. I'm doing it for the culture. It's like, literally, that's the culture of crypto, is like, I'm going to buy into the resistance. Fuck that resistance, right? And like, all TA goes out the window and all risk management disappears. That's kind of like the axiom of crypto. But for me, it's a technical setup. And, you know, I'm just going to go there and I'm going to prove my point. Here's why I'm shorting this. Okay. Let's make it simple. Where is it? Invert. There we go. Okay. If this was a fucking bull market, if this whole thing was a bull market, you're telling me that you wouldn't be buying into this right here? You wouldn't be buying this fucking support? Really? I mean, come on. Really? Yeah. Pasta hands and everything. Really? You're not going to buy that? If this was all bull market? Really? You're not buying these like, what? Oh my God. Look at this fucking falling wedge. Holy shit. You're not buying that to go up more? Oh, it consolidated. You're not buying that? Huge bull flag. You're not buying that? I mean, and to me, it's like the same thing. It's like, oh man, look, we just had this really nice retrace. Holy shit, that's awesome. This thing is gonna rock it, right? Like, you're not buying that? There's the axiom of flipping your chart upside down, right? Like, I don't know, maybe I'm jaded because I've traded so many markets for fucking 10, 12 years. I don't know. I just see this and I'm like, oh my God, it's like the perfect opportunity to be shorting here. Even if I get knocked out a couple times on some smaller positions, this is like a great setup. And that's the only reason why I'm playing the short, is because the risk to reward is massive here. Like, very, very little risk. Like, I've got a very clear invalidation. I just spent 30 minutes going over this. I've got an extremely clear invalidation on this. I will absolutely short massive monthly resistance and supply. Absolutely, 100% every time. Just like I will 100% every time be either dollar cost averaging or longing with some leverage on major weekly and monthly support every fucking time. Bull trap, in my opinion. Money makers are ready. All hype, no volume. That's illustrated by the OBV. I'm assuming you meant MACD. I don't know what MACB is. Weekly says red dot will print by the end of the month. I don't know. Maybe that's a different indicator. Please like let me know if you meant MACD or whatever. But by the end of the month, says red dot will print by the end of the month. That means March should be a down month overall. I've got a macro point of control at 19.2. That exactly. And there are also, now I didn't go over that because some of this audience is like more of a beginner kind of trader, but you guys know that I talk about points of control and naked points of control all the time. Absolutely 100%. There is a naked point of control there. 100%. That should offer support. That's also a 24% move to the downside. Exactly. Inverse head and shoulders forming. I mean, maybe if you brought it up now, okay, on a weekly, maybe. And that's like a really big maybe, because the only thing that I don't like about this being a head and shoulders is the fact that you've got like a dip here and then an equal low here. But on a weekly chart, if this was going to retrace, say, that 24 or 50% or whatever, that could be a possibility on the weekly chart, though. And see, that's the kind of weird thing about that. That's the reason why I never posted that chart pattern, is because I love this, but we did 2 of those before we got the move down. So it's like it's kind of funky. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't have that right look. But I have noticed that, and props to like kind of seeing that there. There's nothing that says that we couldn't get something like that, and it couldn't be something like this, right? I mean, if that happens, it's a massive reversal. You're talking coming up and at least testing these areas up here. That's about 32K. That's 100% possible, but it just looks kind of funky to me. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying it's impossible. It's just like the higher time frame you go, it's like the more elongated this head and shoulders is, and it just starts looking really weird. Unless you're talking about a much lower time frame, though. If you're talking head and shoulders patterns, inverse and regular, are hands down 100% my favorite classical charting pattern to trade, by the way. I make so much money in sideways markets because of that pattern. And I'll show you an example in a second after I go over these other questions here. Yeah, it looks like scoliosis. That's funny. Market cipher B. I don't know what that is. If that's I guess that's an indicator. I've personally never used that. I don't know what that is, but I will check it out though, because now you've piqued my interest there. I want to go, what the hell? No, I don't want notifications. Get off. Go away. Yeah, we'd need a few more months of sideways back down. Yeah, so like it would have to do one of these, except like to the downside, right? Like we'd have to see some like really jacked up, fucked up, really long, grindy kind of like, you know, bear flag, or like some kind of, you know what I mean? Like something like that. I totally get what you're saying. I've been contemplating that's what's happening here for a while, and we just slow bleed for like a month, like until like the end of March, you know? Totally possible. And yes, I am going to check out the market cipher beat. Let me actually bring up a text document so I can write that down real quick. Hold on, guys. 1 second. No. Market cipher B. Yes, absolutely. Save. Yeah, I wrote that down as a note. I'm actually really interested to check that out. Let me know, Drive with Bishop. Let me know what time frame you find that it works on best with its default settings, and I'll like kind of go from there and play with it. Now, I wanted to show you guys an example of just amazing sideways action nonsense that I just had so much fun trading. Was it this? Or is this the most recent? No, that's the most recent price action. Way back here. Oh, this was okay. So this was in May. Let's come down to a 1 hour. Come down to a 1 hour. Go in here. Oh my God, this was just so beautiful for me. This was like, for most people, this was like, was it this area? I think it was this area, right? Or am I crazy? Oh my God, no, I'm like retarded. Okay, that's what I thought. I was like, there's no way. This is June. Okay, here. I'm not crazy. This is what I thought. Okay, this was like, this was literally so much fun for me. This is why, and this is going to be some like crazy alpha for you. He said monthly, weekly, and daily, the high time. Fu Manchu, the free version. Okay. You guys are about to shit your pants. This is why Head and Shoulders are my favorite patterns here. Watch this. First Head and Shoulders. Boom. Okay, there's the first one. 1, 2, 3. Another one. Boom. Here's your high. There's another one. Okay. Now hold on. We're gonna keep going. We're gonna keep going here. We're gonna keep going. Oh, look. Another one. Do you see the next one? Boom, boom, boom. Here's your neckline. Kapow! I made so much money on this because this was a double, right? So you got your inverse Head and Shoulders, boom, right into another regular Head and Shoulders and a massive. Oh my God, I made so much. Everyone was getting destroyed in this chop, and I'm sitting back like long, short, just playing the waves back and forth. Like, I had so much fun. I made thousands of dollars in this. I think I was on vacation for this, or I got chopped up here or whatever. Oh man, there was a little wedge here. Look, I even still have it drawn here on the chart. Like, I'm not bullshitting here. Look, boom, 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 break. Like, I even have these still drawn here. This is nuts. This is why I don't delete shit off my charts. People go back and they're like, oh, you're a fucking LARP. It's like, really? Go back and look at my charts, bro. I'll zoom in on the 4 hour. Here's another one. Look. Big top Head and Shoulders, right? Boom, boom, boom. Wah, wah, wah. Huge win. Like, oh my God. This was like beautiful trading for me. This was just real. I think this was a CPI through here. Was this on a Wednesday? No, it was not. Okay, so this was the chop for the CPI, because this was the madness before the CPI. Big double top and reversal, and then that's finally when this whole thing just shattered and broke down. I think there was more of those patterns down here or something or whatever. I mean, this was just a massive channel through here this whole time. This was just a massive channel. When this channel started forming, instead of playing heads and shoulders through here, normally when you get an ascending or descending channel and it's not flat back and forth in a range and you get one of these, normally the best idea is to just play the taps and just be patient and wait for them. Take profit on the first, whether it doesn't matter if you're long or short, you take profits on those midlines as your first target. And then, you let your second target be like the bottom of the channel. And if you don't get it and the volume just starts reversing, you just like close the whole thing at that first target and just be patient and sit out until you get another opportunity, right? And as you get these throwovers up here, you have more opportunity to place more ladders and have a higher stop loss so that these throwovers don't wick you out. But that comes with experience and having like a really good plan, letting the price action develop so you have fresh highs, more recent highs to be able to know where your invalidation is and things like that. But, even through here, this was a really big play for me. We had this huge drop. I missed this whole first drop. We consolidated. I shorted in here. And we got this next huge drop in here back into major weekly support. I bought it, rocketed. I mean, like there was really good trading in here on these lines. This is why these levels of supply and demand I have drawn here. I mean, look at this trading. I mean, these were really good plays, right? Like, I mean, that was the massive capitulation. You know, this was probably the longest trade that I held in 2022. Is from here in November until literally I held the trade for a month, waiting to exit here. Finally got it. Didn't get this long, and then that's when we were off to the races. I longed here, and then I shorted 24.50, and this is where we're at now. Those were literally the trades that I took like over the last year and a half. Like I just went through all of it, and the shit is still on the chart. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. That's pretty cool. Yeah, the double BART and everything. It's just like as the price action develops, it just starts getting like really cool and really, really interesting with just like how the price action develops, and you start learning more. The only way to get good at trading is to do it. Like you're not going to get good at trading by paper trading. Like it just doesn't work, because in the back of your head, you always know that if you lose, it doesn't fucking matter because it's not your money. The only way to get good at trading is to practice. I mean, practice new okay, let me back that. Let me back the gravy train up and rephrase that. When you're learning or you're making a new trading strategy, paper trade it first. Yes, absolutely. If you're using a new tool to base decisions off of, or a new indicator that you're implementing or adding to a strategy, you absolutely want to journal those and paper trade them 100% before you use real money with it. Because if you just stick an indicator on a new chart and start trading that live, obviously that's not going to be a good decision, right? Like you're just going to lose needless money. You need to know if it's going to perform first and mess around with it a little bit. But at the end of the day, like really trading and like learning where your invalidations are, learning how you want to do your risk management and how you want to ladder bids. Do you want to ladder bids and asks at all to build positions over a longer period of time? What's your acceptance of drawdown? Are you okay with having a trade in the red for like a week, but you're still making money on the funding for it because you're trading the opposite direction and waiting for the price action to turn around because you have a high conviction setup and you trust your own analysis? Most traders don't take their own setups and they highlight them in hindsight because they don't trust themselves enough and they don't have a high enough conviction in their own analysis. And I think that that's a really big block for most traders. And I did the same thing for a very long time. Like I would see setups all over the place and I was never making any money because I didn't trust myself enough to take the setup that I saw on the chart because of all the noise and the news and the FUD and the media and crypto Twitter and people in my ear and the blah, blah, blah. And I never took any of the setups because of that. And I didn't make any money because I was like letting social sentiment dissuade me from taking my own setups, even though my analysis was solid. The risk reward was high. The setup was good, solid invalidation, big enough portfolio to use a small amount that I don't have to blow up my portfolio with a ton of leverage. It was all there. I just wasn't taking it because I was letting other people and other bullshit convince me that it wasn't a good setup. It wasn't a good play to me. Don't be that guy. Don't do that. It's terrible. What's the difference between supply and demand lines and support and resistance? There is no difference. It's the same thing. Supply and demand is just the technical name for support and resistance. That's it. When you hit supply, people are selling. When you hit demand, people are buying. So when it hits a level that people want to buy, it's support. It bounces. When you hit a level that people want to sell at, that's supply. People are selling. It's the 100% the same exact thing. I have streamed for just about I started at 8, right? Yeah. I know for Ancient Alien, I'm pretty sure you are an Aussie. So you're probably 12 or 13 hours ahead, which means it is bright and early in the morning for you or extremely late at night. Sorry for the timing, man. There's so many cool Aussies that follow me and stuff. And it's just like, if I adjust to your time frame, it just absolutely murders my sleep. But I know that me streaming like in central time here in the US is like not ideal for the Aussies. It like kind of sucks. I don't know what time it is there. What time is it there? Probably really fucking late or very, very early, one or the other. But look, guys, if we get back to just this right here, this is another thing. If you guys ever see anybody on Twitter, and I'm not going to name names because I don't want to like throw smoke or throw shade at people right now, but I see this on Twitter all the time, is the trend will be up and then people will be like, oh, look, it's a Head and Shoulders. This is 100% incorrect. That is not how it works. Okay. And I have a video on like basic trade patterns and stuff. But if you ever see anybody on Twitter that draws an inverse Head and Shoulders in an uptrend, it's wrong. Okay. You can only have an inverse Head and Shoulders if the price action, okay, is in a downtrend like this. That's the only time that you can have an inverse Head and Shoulders. Just like the only time that you can have a normal inverse Head and Shoulders, okay, is when the price action is doing this. Okay. And you've got an inverse Head and Shoulders like this. Okay. That's the only way that it works. When you have an uptrend and oh yeah, look, it's a head. No, 100% wrong. Absolutely wrong. I don't make a point to call people out on that. I will sometimes if they have a shit ton of followers, and normally they'll block me when I call them out because they're just being retarded and they're LARPs. 2:19 p.m. That's not bad, man. If we have another leg up, I have the 25 EMA at 26.5, which is also where the May 2022 monthly wick is. That's where I'm shorting with size. I expect nice kangaroo tail there to short. Yeah, actually, like, to be honest with you, wait, 26.5. 26.5. Are you basing that just off of one EMA though? No, please tell me you're not just basing it. It's got, oh, okay. It's this wick that I've got labeled here. Oh, no, I just deleted it. Come back. I was trying to delete these little pink marks. You're talking about this. Mine's at 26.7, but yeah, right around that area. Absolutely. This would be where it's like, okay, I'm going to immediately, like if volume comes in, right? I'm immediately closing my short, opening up a scalp long immediately, make up for the tiny loss. And then yes, absolutely. That would be where I'm building size. There's a lot of space in here. And actually, if you wanted to, you could draw a little zone in here between these two wicks. And that would be, yeah, like I 100% agree with shorting into this area here. 100%. Absolutely. Yes. 100%. That would be like the extreme swing. And that's the only scenario that I see where we keep moving up is it would be like a flash rip. You know what I mean? Like some crazy volatility to just like stop shorts out and then it'll just reverse because it's just going to grab liquidity from shorts, liquidate derivatives traders, and then just immediately reverse. And it would be like a big reversal because everybody that would be sitting on the sidelines, i.e. you, would be waiting for these levels here. You know, I'm like Michael Burry. I'm not wrong. I'm just early, you know? Sometimes saying that just makes me feel better. But anyway, guys, I'm gonna go ahead. Just bear with me for one more minute here. Really appreciate the banter. Really appreciate you guys joining the stream. If this is the kind of content that you like, and you guys are like intermediates or more advanced traders, kind of like I am, and you guys enjoy this content, please help support the stream. Make sure that you like and you retweet and, you know, all of the things on Twitter and, you know, and YouTube and stuff. Smash the subscribe button, all that stuff. If you guys want to support the channel, check out all of the stuff. And there's a whole bunch of free stuff in there too. If you're interested in Elliott Wave, there's a free book that you can get. If you need a VPN or you're thinking about switching VPNs, I have a link in there that will give you 30 days free. If you're thinking about subscribing to High Block Capital, there's links in there that will give you a sweet discount. You know, check out all of those things. Again, like these aren't like sponsored things. These are things that I physically use. You know, I'm not shit. I wish I was sponsored by somebody. That'd be fucking great. But anyway, thanks for sticking around, everybody. Really appreciate you all being here. Absolutely love the banter. I'm going to be doing these every Friday night. Okay. And then You guys know me, especially the ones that are in the Elevate Discord. I'm kind of working my way out of the Elevate Discord and doing my own thing. I'm probably not going to be an admin there for too much longer. I don't really like the direction with the way that everything is going there, and I need to focus on my own. I need to focus on my own stuff, my own brand. That's just kind of where my head's at now. My family, my brand, my products, my streams, my YouTube. I need to focus on my stuff. So that's kind of where my head is going with that. So anyway, yeah, make sure that you do all the things. Check out all the links in the description below. Make sure that you like, subscribe, all of that good stuff. And the last thing that I was going to say is anytime that there is an FOMC event, I will always stream those live. Always. I make the majority of my money on those days when I am scalping. So, you know, if that's something that you're interested and you want to learn how to trade that volatility or set a position and pick a side before the volatility occurs and learn kind of how to position yourself for that kind of stuff, absolutely make sure that you're here for it. Those FOMCs are normally on Wednesdays, like every 60, I think they're every 60 days on like the middle of the month on Wednesdays at 2 p.m. Eastern. So that's 1 p.m. for me. I normally always stream those and always trade those live. And if I'm not trading them live, or if I'm trading them with my real accounts, I'll at least let you guys know where I am positioned, so that you guys can like copy trade if you want. Obviously, it's not financial advice, but I can kind of like help coach you through the volatility so that you guys can learn how to be profitable, or at least like not get wrecked in, you know, those kinds of market environments and stuff where there's a lot of volatility in, you know, normal legacy global markets and stuff. So again, really hope you guys enjoyed the stream. I hope you guys have a wonderful weekend. That's pretty much it, guys. And I will catch you all next